All right. So today is going to be a nice lesson compared to our past two challenging lessons of factorisation. We're looking at quadratic formula, and what's wonderful about formulas is there's literally no thought required. You have a formula, you put the numbers in, and you just process it and it brings out the answer. You don't have to think hard about it. That's why lots of people love quadratic formula. And if you've noticed, what we've been going over in 2A.1, we did solving quadratics by factorising. 2A.2, solving by completing the square. Today we're doing 2A.3, which is solving by quadratic formula. So we're giving you three processes to solve quadratic equations. You need to be comfortable and competent with all three processes. But if you're not given a particular method to solve it, you can use any. Lots of people jump straight here. Even though it's a bit longer, it requires no thought whatsoever. It's substituting the numbers in. So we're familiar with a quadratic like this. That's the general form of a quadratic. A is the coefficient. So that word, that means the number in front of x squared. B is the coefficient of x. We were dealing with the b term yesterday. And c is the constant term. And if that's a quadratic and it's equal to 0, then these are the solutions. Minus b plus or minus square root b squared to take 4ac on 2a. A beautiful formula, and I imagine we've seen this in year 10 before. So a bit of a recap. So let's have a look at our first example. We have a quadratic equal to 0. We're ready to go. What we'll do is we'll just say, what's the value of a first? A is the coefficient of the x squared term. In this circumstance, when there's no number written there, a is 1. B is also 1. We have one lot of x squared, we have one lot of x, and our constant term c is minus 5. All right, so now all we're going to do is plug those numbers into this formula. So we'll have x is minus b plus or minus the square root of, and we have b squared, take away 4 times a times c. All right, so minus b plus or minus the square root, b squared take 4ac, all divided by 2a. All right, so step 1, substitute in. Step 2, let's process it. So out the front here, we just have minus 1 plus or minus the square root. 1 squared is 1, and we have 4 times 1 times minus 5. So that's going to become positive 20. All right, and divided by 2. And so we have two solutions. All right, the two values of x, it's minus 1 plus the square root of 21, or minus 1 take the square root of 21 on 2. Okay, those are the values of x that make this statement true, the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side. Now just quickly, I'll show you how we can use our calculator for this as well. So we can pull our calculators out. We're going to go to the main menu, and we're going to go down to equation. Alright, so in our calculator, main menu, we go to equation. Now, once we're in equation, who wants to have a wild guess what kind of equation is this? Polynomials. Here's a big hint for you. The name of the unit that we're doing is polynomials. Okay? Polynomials. A quadratic is a type of polynomial. And a polynomial just means a function that is x to the power of n, where n is some number. Okay, so that's a polynomial. And the degree of our polynomial is 2. The highest power we have is 2. So we're going to type that in. And then we have 3 settings to put in our calculator. It tells you put the number of a in, put the number of b in, and put the number of c in. All you need to do is type in 1, 1, minus 5, press execute, and your calculator can check your answers for you or provide you with a solution. Okay, who's lost? Menu, equation, yep. Go to polynomials. So the degree, 2. Yep, anyone else? Yeah, have you seen it before?
What numbers are we?
So So you've got A, B, and C?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Righty, you're good? Yep, very good. Excellent. Okay, let's move on to the second one then. So 7x squared, take 5x plus 1. A. Alright, so we don't need our calculators now. We're going to do this one manually. A is positive 7. B is negative 5. C is positive 1. Alright, so I identify the values of A, B, C. And then we chuck them straight into our formula. We have minus B. Now I'm going to put B in brackets because it's minus 5. Alright, so that we're going to process that in a moment. Minus B plus or minus the square root of B squared. Alright, again I'm putting B in brackets because negative 5 is in brackets and then we're squaring it. It's B squared. Take away 4 times A times C. All divided by 2 times A. Alright, so sub it in. Let's process it a bit. We'll have positive 5, 25, take. Now here, 4 times 7 times 1 will be 28. All on 14. Okay, and we've encountered an error. What's the error? Yes, can't square root a negative. So this means this quadratic equation has no solutions. Again, if you type that one into your calculator and you press solve, it will say no solution. We have no solution for this quadratic because we have a negative number inside the square root. Okay, we will go through C, although they probably won't be as complex as C. Alright, so in C, we have x plus 1 squared equals 3 take away x squared. Alright, so our process, if we look at the process at the top, move all of the terms to the left-hand side. Okay, we want everything on the left-hand side. So I'm going to move both of these over. So we'll have x plus 1 squared, take 3, and then plus x squared is equal to 0. However, if we're looking at that, we can't clearly identify the values of A, B, and C. We have a packet here that we need to expand and then collect like terms. So I'm looking specifically at this x plus 1 squared. We need to first expand that. That is a perfect square. Yesterday we were doing the opposite, moving from we were factorising it. Today we're going to expand it. Here's the rule. A plus B squared, A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. So this one corresponds with A, this one corresponds with B. So when we expand it, it becomes x squared plus 2 lots of x times 1. Okay, a squared plus 2ab. Alright, straight from the formula here. And then plus b squared. And then we have this take 3 and plus x squared out here. Equal to 0. Okay, so we've expanded it. Now we're just going to simplify what's on the left-hand side before we do the quadratic formula. So the way we're going to simplify it is we're looking for like terms. Here I've got x squared plus x squared. Those are like terms because they have the same power of x. X squared plus x squared, that gives me 2 lots of x squared. Alright, our next term is just 2 times x times 1, which is just 2 lots of x. And then we have here 1, but take away 3. If we have positive 1, we collect those constant terms together. 1 take away 3 gives us minus 2. Okay, so what have we done with this one? We've moved everything to the left-hand side. We expanded it using the perfect square rule. Now we've collected like terms. And now we can see really clearly, to solve it with quadratic formula, A is 2, B is 2, C is minus 2. All right, the coefficient of x squared, the coefficient of x, the coefficient of c. Let's chuck that into the formula. It might come up here. So minus 2 so we sub it in and then we'll process it. We'll have minus 2. Now this becomes 4, take away, and 4 times 2 times 2, that becomes positive 16. All right. Now I'm going to give you, sorry? I'm going to give you full marks here. This can be simplified, but it does require surd operations, which you don't learn until semester 2. I'll just make a quick connection as to how. I'm going to show you how quickly, just so you're not alarmed. When we have the square root of 20, one way we could write that is that it's the square root of 4 times 5. And one way we could write that using the surd rules is that it's the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. And we know the square root of 4 is 2. Okay? So you might see it written, whenever you have root 20, that can be simplified to that. You're not expected to know that yet. Okay, so the textbook will simplify the answers. If you type this into your calculator, it will put it in simplest form. If you put this equation into your calculator, A2, B2, C minus 2, it will put it in simplest form as well. Nonetheless, we'll give you full marks at this step because you're not required to know the surd operations. So that's 2A.3. It's just a short, sharp, shiny exercise. So let's spend a bit of time doing those ones. Definitely the first half of the lesson. And then we got something a bit different afterwards.